Yo guys, what is going on? Got a Greymon red control deck for you guys. This is a deck for the BT5 meta, and I've been testing this out over the last couple of weeks, playing at locals, etc. So this past weekend, I actually got first at my locals. I actually only dropped one game, the entire like 4 or 5 rounds. And that was only because I actually bricked. I didn't see any level 3s for like 5 turns, and by then it was just too late. But anyways, guys, so this is basically like a pure Greymon build, just featuring Agumon and Greymons and lots of Omnimons and stuff. And I'll just go ahead and explain my card choices and why I think it is so powerful and such a good counter pick to a lot of decks in the Set 5 meta. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for the Digi Eggs, I am playing 5 Koromon, so 1 copy of Starter Deck Koromon, and then 4 copies of BT5 Koromon. So this one I think is pretty relevant. This guy gives you plus 1000 if you have basically like a full Digivolution stack, and then this guy lets you draw a card whenever you're attacking with a Greymon or an Omnimon. I think this is much more relevant in a lot of cases because I think the consistency of this deck is lacking at times, so you really want this to help with that. And it just helps out, if you're breaking or if you're just swinging with your Digimon, just helps you get a nice little bonus to see your extra combo pieces. So that is it for the Digi-Eggs. And then for the level 3 Digimon to start, I'm playing, well, basically, I'm playing all Agumons in this deck, right? So this is 14 Agumons. So first of all, we got 4 copies of BT5 Agumon. This guy is the searcher of the deck. He is really, really fantastic to just play from your hand or play off of something like Nokia for free. So you get his effect, and then on play, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add a Greymon as well as a Omnimon. So basically, all of your level 5s and 6s and 7s are either Greymons or Omnimons, and most of your level 4s as well. So this guy searches out a huge portion of your deck, and it just helps with consistency. And I think consistency is key for this deck, just being able to get the pieces you need to, get rid of your opponent's Digimon or take control of the board. And then the next best Agumon, I think these two are like hands down the best, is the promo Agumon. This one gives plus 2000 to your Digimon if it has Greymon in the name. So it could be regular Greymon, Metal Greymon, Blitz Greymon, all those sorts of things. So this guy is just really, really clutch. Giving plus 2000 is so insane. Like, that is such a huge power boost, and I will get to why exactly that matters so much later. But just being able to swing, and then of course you're playing things like Starter Deck Greymon that give you like an extra security check, so you really want to survive as often as possible. I mean, of course you do. Why would you want to swing in security and die? But then also just beating over your opponent's Digimon is like really, really nice. Like, this helps you get around Lord Nightmon, because a lot of the times he's just sitting there suspended. Your opponent's got 2-3 other Digimon on field, but then if you've got this guy underneath something like a Blitz or a Victory or something, he can become pretty big. So it's just really, really nice. So those are the I would say the best Agumons. And then all the other ones, I'm playing 3 copies of Starter Deck Agumon, which is, again, just nice attack boost, but this one's only plus 1000. It's a little bit more generic, so you can give this to, like, your Omnimon, make him 16,000. So that's kind of nice. And then I'm also playing, this is kind of like the spicy tech, is 2 copies of this promo Agumon. I don't know which one, like, I should call which, but they're both promos. But basically, this is, like, one of the first promos, I think, actually, promo 1. But anyways, guys, so this guy, on play, you get to delete something with 3000 or lower DP. So on paper, it's kind of not that great of a card because he's a 5-cost level 3, but when you pair it with something like Nokia, it just becomes a free pop for any of your opponent's problematic level 3s, or just, the level 3s that they're spamming on the field if they're playing Lord Nightmon, or things like Gazimon and Terriermon, or things like Syakomon and Cutemon that actually kind of hinder this deck because they do prevent reducing cost for Digivolution. So that is another really relevant case where this guy comes up. But it's just free removal. Like, this guy is just really nice. You really want removal at all levels, basically like low levels and high levels. And then we've got 1 copy of the Tamer Searching Agumon, who is more of a tech card, and I definitely don't think he's necessary. I was mainly just testing this out because I like this artwork. And then I also thought it would be helpful to be able to just grab your tamers if you do need them. Things like Marcus and Nokia if you need to set up with those. But he really never came up. It's just an extra name, just an extra Agumon that you can play off of Nokia, and it feels pretty decent to have a nice on-play effect. But I could definitely like see the argument for swapping him out for like another one of this. But I did like having three Agumons that had good, on-play effects. I don't know if I would have like put in another copy of this because I think any more than two would be a little bit bricky. But anyways, so that is going to do it for the level 3 count. That is all of our Agumons, and then let's go ahead and get into the Greymon. So for the level 4s, we are playing 3 copies of Starter Deck Greymon. Of course, this guy is a staple in a lot of red decks, just giving security attack +1 to any one of your Digimons. It's really, really nice, of course, with your big guys, especially things like set 1 Omnimon, who can attack multiple times, and checking for security by himself is absolutely ridiculous. So I really think this guy is like essential in this deck. I was not playing for him, not maxing out, just because I want to make room for all the other level 4s, as you will soon see here in a moment. So then for the other Greymons, I'm playing 3 copies of set 5 Greymon. So of course this guy gives you a memory if you Digivolve on top of an Agumon, and then if you got Nokia on the field, it basically makes it a free level 4 Digivolution, which is really nice, helping you just go into your big plays as quickly as possible. But then of course the attack boost is really relevant. Plus 2000 is so much DP to be getting from one of your Digimon. So if you can pair that with something like this, that's already a plus 4000 boost. It makes all your level 6s 16,000, if you got both of those, or maybe 15,000 if you just got this guy. But 16k gets over every level 7 in the game. 15,000 is still pretty decent, gets over Valdrarm and regular Chaosmon, Millenniumon, things like that, Omnimon, Sword Defeat. Well, I guess Sword Defeat's not really relevant, but you guys get my idea. Just being really big and threatening your opponent's Digimon straight by DP is like kind of underrated, I feel like. Not only does this deck have lots of removal, but then it also has way to just threaten your opponent's board because your Digimon are so big and they'll want to protect their boss monsters. So then for the other level 4s, I'm playing, of course, 4 copies of your blocker, 4 copies of Monodramon. Not much to be said here. Of course, he's just a 1-cost evolution, and then you do need your blockers. And then lastly, just playing 2 copies of Dark Tyrannomon. Another 1-cost evolution champion, and then 6000 DP is nice, versus something like Hugamon, who's like a 3-play cost, which is cool, but then he's also only like 3000 DP. So I think I just prefer the Dark Tyrannomon. But yeah, I was originally playing 4 of each of these guys, but I cut it for 2 more Dark Tyrannomon because I wanted a little bit more 1-cost champions, just to be able to build up faster. It's really, really nice. Gaining memory and then getting security attack buffs is, of course, fantastic as well. So then for the level 5s, I think this is where the deck really, really starts to shine. So playing 3 copies of set 1 Metal Greymon, this guy, oh my god, this guy is so insane. First of all, I've been talking about how fantastic DP gains are in this deck, and plus 3000 is just about the biggest DP gain you can get on a single inherited effect. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. It makes your Digimon so big. They basically have jamming. They're not dying to security unless they hit, a Gaia Force or something like that. And then they can just threaten your opponents, their Chaos Gauntmons, their Zwarts in a suspended position, their Lord Nightmons. All of their powerful Digimon are game, fair game to attack over because of this guy. And then because I'm also playing one of my favorite cards in this deck, Metal Greymon Alterius Mode. This guy is so underrated. I have not seen that many lists playing him. He's good for many, many reasons. Of course, one, he has a nice on-Digivolution effect where if you Digivolve on top of a Metal Greymon, you can delete something with 4000 or lower DP. So this is another Digimon that just gets rid of your opponent's lower end Digimons. A decent amount of level 4s as well. It basically encompasses all rookies, but also some level 4s are, at that 4000 threshold, things like Ladymon or Tobyumon, stuff like that. It doesn't come up too much, but just basically popping a level 3 is nice. And then, of course, he's already 8000 DP, and then if you evolve him on top of a Metal Greymon, he becomes 11,000, plus any of your other DP boosting guys that you had earlier, stuff like the Agumon or the Promo Agumon, or your Greymon here. You can just get this guy so ridiculously big. And you might be asking, well, Donkey Naga, why do you care if this guy is like a million DP? Like, why does that matter? You can just go into a level 6. Well, a lot of times I found the situation where you would, have this guy in your breeding area or on the field, and then you'd be locked at one memory. And being able to Digivolve this is basically like a level 6 play, but only costing 1, because you get to kill something. He has a nice pop when he's evolved, and then he goes up to like a million DP. You can threaten your opponent's security. Maybe if you got the security attack buff, or you can threaten your opponent's Lord Nightmon. They didn't expect it because they put you to 1, and they didn't think you'd be able to swing over anything. So this guy is just so good for so many reasons. He's essentially like a level 6, but then of course being able to evolve on a 5 is really nice, because then you get to draw multiple cards off of like his 1 evolution cost. So that is just absolutely fantastic. And then of course, not only all that, but then he himself also gives plus 2000 DP to your Greymons and Omnimons. So there's just so many ways to boost your guys really, really big in this deck, and basically just to swing over everything you want to. And then I'm also just playing one copy of starter deck Greymon here, Metal Greymon, whose effect is pretty nice. If he gets blocked, you basically just gain 3 memory. It didn't really come up too much, but I think this is I just basically wanted another Metal Greymon name, and I didn't have 4 of these actually. So if you do want an alternative to like this one, I would recommend starter deck Metal Greymon. It's definitely not as powerful, but it is still a pretty decent strategy. And then lastly, for my last couple of level 5s here, I've got Rise Greymon. Rise Greymon, of course, is fantastic because you get to just play your Marcus for free, but then his inherited effect minus 2000 on something when attacking is really nice. There were a couple of scenarios playing at locals where I had a level 6 on top of this guy. I would attack minus something by 2000 and then go into Alterius mode. It was 6000, so it was like a blocker. I think I popped even like a Warumanzemon, like a level 5. A lot of level 5s do have that like 6000 threshold, things like Anjuamon as well, that you can just reduce them to 4k and then blow it up with this, which is really, really insane. So that is just absolutely fantastic. So Rise Greymon, of course, nice. And then, of course, these guys are all Greymon, so they're all searchable by Agumon, all reducible by Nokia. So you can just steamroll in this deck if you've got enough resources, like enough Nokias on field, enough Greymons in hand, that you can just build up into your powerful Digimon really, really fast. So, guys, that is going to do it for the level 5s. And then for the level 6, for the boss monsters, I'm playing 3 copies of Victory Greymon. I think this guy is probably my favorite in the deck so far. This guy is absolutely insane. Being able to delete anything with 8000 or lower DP is such a huge threshold. Now, that is effectively like he's a Chaos Gallantmon by himself, or a Slash Angemon by himself, right? Because he can just blow up anything. He doesn't need anything else on field like Chaos Gallantmon. Basically, you just need the materials underneath him, which you'll pretty much always have. And then, of course, he's 12,000. He is a 4 cost. However, you are playing Nokia, so there were many, many instances where I could get him to a 3 or even a 2 evolution cost for this. You can evolve him without passing turn, which is absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, the 12,000 DP is really nice versus something like Slash Angemon. And speaking of Slash Angemon, wouldn't you know, he's also 8,000 DP. So playing this in a locals where everyone is playing Lord Nightmon, and this guy can just get rid of a level 6 by himself, I will take that any day of the week. Like, this guy is just absolutely crazy. There were so many instances where I could, like, evolve this without passing turn, blow up a level 5, and then go into an Omnimon, blow up a level 6. So this deck just has so many removal options. It's absolutely fantastic. Love Victory Greymon. And then I'm also playing 3 copies of Blitz Greymon. This guy, honestly, was really nice in testing, but it didn't come up to me too much. The D-Digivolve -2 effect is really good. It gets rid of, Valderon without triggering his on deletion, gets rid of Millenniumon, basically gets around all on deletion effects, and then just gets rid of your opponent's like powerful boss monsters. And then having 12,000 with a piercing, and then oftentimes he's definitely more than 12,000, is just really, really fantastic. And then the last level 6 here I was playing was a spicy tech, which I honestly might like cut one Blitz Greymon for another copy of this. It is BT5 War Greymon. This guy, if you do not know what he does, if you Digivolve him and he has a Greymon in his material, aside from, of course, the ones that aren't considered Greymons, you get to just blow up a blocker. So you pretty much will always you're always guaranteed to have this, because all of your level 5s are Greymon. So even if your level 3s and 4s aren't Greymons, your level 5s are. So you'll basically always get to resolve that effect. It's really, really fantastic. And then, of course, he is a level 6 with an inherited effect, so being able to blow up level something with 3000, not once per turn, by the way. If you're attacking multiple times with set 1 Omnimon, you can trigger that multiple times. It's really nice. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that he's a 3 evolution cost versus a 4. And don't get me wrong, these guys are amazing, and there are many times where you can resolve them, their effects, for a 3 evolution cost, maybe if you got Nokia or something. However, the difference is I can evolve this guy in the breeding area without passing turn. So in the breeding area, you can't use Nokia, and you pretty much will always start with 3, and you want to evolve something without passing turn, or you want to keep your guy in the breeding area so you can bring him out a little bit later and then like swing over something and then go Omnimon as well. That comes up a lot, especially in this format where hiding in the breeding area is a pretty viable strategy, and you really want to wait until you go for your big play so your opponent doesn't blow him up with a Valdararm or any sort of Lord Nightmon combo. So I really thought this was fantastic. And then of course, like I said, you're oftentimes bringing out a level 5 from the breeding area. So maybe you got something like this Rise Greymon here, you can bring him out, he's starting at 3 memory, evolve this, blow up a blocker, and then swing over your opponent's boss monster like it's no big deal. It is just such a powerful combo. So I really like this card for those reasons. So that is going to do it for the level 6s. And then now for the level 7s, the basically the board wipes and the game changers. We're playing 2 copies of set 1 Omnimon, 1 copy of Omnimon Ultra S, and 1 copy of Omnimon X Antibody. So yes, I know this is a lot of Omnimons. I would definitely not recommend playing more than 4. However, because they are searchable, you really want to be able to get that +2 off of Agumon as often as possible, and you're not playing any option cards in this deck, actually. So I really like the 2 Omnimons, because this is the most generic, I feel like. This gets rid of just any problematic Digimon, without any sort of restrictions on it. It doesn't have a level restriction, a DP restriction, or anything like that. Just pop 1, and it's as simple as that. So I've, loved this, being able to get rid of Zwarts, getting rid of Lord Nightmon, getting rid of Needhogs, Refletiumons, all that sort of stuff. And then Omnimon Ultra S is, of course, a really fantastic card, because he's essentially your version of Needhogmon. He is a board wipe. He can be an absolute blowout card, especially against Lord Nightmon matchups, which, wouldn't you know it, this meta, this format is full of those decks. So this guy's just absolutely fantastic, but I don't think I would play more than 1, just because, 1, he's searchable, so you see these cards pretty often, and then, like I said, I think this is better in most situations. This is not as good as regular Omnimon in a lot of matchups. So there are times where, like, maybe if your opponent's playing like a Shoutmon deck or a 1-stack deck or maybe Hexablow or something, and you just need to kill their Digimon straight up, they only got like 1 or 2 Digimon on field, it's not really worth paying 6 just to not wipe their board. This guy will do the job much better. So I really like the 2-1 ratio. And then X Antibody was the unsung hero. Like, this guy, I was not the biggest fan of him, like, coming into the BT5 meta, but after testing him out a lot, I really like him. Being able to evolve for 3 on top of an Omnimon's effect you've already used, so being able to board wipe your opponent, and the next turn, drop this for 3, and then kill anything else that they may have summoned that turner. Same thing, blow up their powerful boss monster, swing twice, and then go into this, and then, blow up anything else, as well as protect yourself, because he does have that Utopia effect, where you can detach 2 materials, and then, protect yourself from an attack, whether that be from a Digimon attacking you or your Digimon on field. So this guy's just absolutely fantastic, being able to kill anything and just control the board from there. I really love Antibody. I'm such a huge fan of this card now. So those are the Omnimons. Those were my ratios, and I think it really worked out for me. And then lastly, for the last cards in the deck, just playing 2 copies of Marcus Damon and 3 copies of Nokia Shiramine. And this was my tamer count for the deck. Just 5 tamers, no option cards or anything else. Now, 2 of Marcus seems a little bit weird because he is the memory tamer. Originally, I was testing out like 3-2, but you want to see Nokia a decent amount. I don't think you need 4, though. 4 seems like a little bit of an overkill, because there are times where, like, playing Nokia, like, feels kind of bad. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have, like, let's say, like, a 5-card starting hand, right? Like, let's say this is your starting hand, right? You got, like, 4 Agumons and a Nokia, all right? So if you, like, you'll evolve, draw your card, whatever, and then you'll play Nokia, and then play an Agumon, and then if it's not this Agumon, it really feels bad, because you're not getting a +1. Or if you play this Agumon, you don't get a +1, you're left with 3 cards in the hand going into your turn 2, which honestly just really feels bad. And that was one of the things I was, missing when I was testing this deck, is just, wow, there's just not a lot of draw power in this deck, and there's not a lot of consistency, because a lot of times you just play your hand, and then, Nokia doesn't really help, because you kind of brick, and even though she does have a nice effect, you can't really utilize it if you don't have any cards in hand, right? And so I really decided on this kind of last minute, but it worked out really nice because your ideal setup is having like 1-in-1, or like any more of them is just like icing on the cake. But 1-in-1 of these is really nice, or even like 2-in-0. Like I'd rather have 2 Nokia, I think, than like 0, versus like 2 Marcus. Even though Marcus is really nice and you can gain memory with his effect by swinging with your Greymons, which of course that is fantastic, being able to swing over your opponent's Digimon, suspend him, and then gain a memory. But yeah, so I just really like this tamer lineup, and I think Nokia is good in certain doses, and I also think Marcus, because he doesn't do anything for you on play, he's not like a TK or an Izzy or anything. I think this lineup was totally fine. Any more than this, I think, would be a little bit bricky. I was testing out Ty and Matt as well, of course, because I'm playing a lot of Omnimons, and I definitely think that could work as well. But I think these two are essential, at least in my version of the deck. So this is what I came up with, and you guys can let me know what you think of that lineup in the comments below. But guys, that is basically it for the video. That is the deck profile. This was my winning list of Greymon control, and I'm really excited to just play this in the future formats. I really love all these cards like Greymons and Omnimons. Greymon's my favorite evolution line, so I was just really happy I was able to do well with a deck that consists of just cards I really enjoy playing. So guys, that is going to be the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and let me know what what changes you would make to this deck. Would you keep the same ratios? Would you still play all the Greymons or the Omnimons? But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.